Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name's Katie. Today we're going to be doing the first impressions of 2020. So this is January's full face of first impressions. So all of these products I would have mentioned in my what I want to buy in 2020 video. I'm pretty sure it's all from Superdrug, all drugstore video. So change from last month where we did like a full face of high-end first impressions. So we're going back to drugstore. So the first thing that we're going to try out is the new Maybelline Superstay Full Coverage Under Eye Concealer. I got the shade Ivory 05, which is the lightest shade. I really like the Maybelline Superstay foundation. It's one of my favourite drugstore foundations, so I definitely wanted to try out the concealer. I have to say, like, looking at the colour, I feel like it does look a tiny bit orangey. I definitely think it could be paler, the lighter shade. What I like to do when I have a concealer in these videos is just test it out in my eye area to start with, just on my bare skin, so I can just see how full coverage it is. Like, it's pretty fair, and I would say it's more warm than it is pink. I'm gonna put this on one under eye and eyelid so you can see it with concealer, no concealer compared. That is actually pretty good coverage, I would say. I don't think it's like full coverage, to be honest, just because I feel like when I compare it to like my e.l.f. concealer or my Tarte Shape Tape or like Jouer Essential High Coverage, I definitely feel like those have more coverage. But I think that has got pretty decent coverage. I think I'd describe it as like a high, medium, low full coverage. So yeah, I'll just do it side by side. I'll look up, I'll look down. You can definitely tell that it has covered quite a lot, but it's just not the most full coverage. And I do feel like the shade looks a lot better when it's sort of blended into the skin. I feel like it kind of matches with the rest of my face once it's blended in, so that's really good. And it doesn't seem like too dry or anything, which is nice. I was worried that it might be a bit dry, just because I feel like the Maybelline Superstay is more of a matte foundation. Blended out like super smoothly, super seamlessly. Yeah, I'm actually like quite happy with that, but we'll see what it's like over foundations. But from first impressions, I do quite like it, but it's just not full coverage. I would like it to just be a little bit more coverage, but I do think it's decent coverage, definitely. So I'm just going to put some of this on the other eyelid and make a base for the eyeshadow palette we're going to try. Okay, we've got our eyeshadow base. So for eyeshadow, I've got the Kami Make Magic eyeshadow palette from Revolution. So it's Kami's collaboration with Revolution. I think he does have another collaboration with them as well. The main reason why I wanted this is because I've heard some really good things about the foiled shades at the top here. Based on swatches, those things may be correct. Right, I've got to do a swatch or something. Yeah, like the shades at the top, they have like this sort of creamy powdery texture. Oh my god, that is amazing. It's like loads of different colours. Wow, oh my god, it's got like loads of different like colour shifts in it, like based on like where it's hitting the light. That's amazing. So I do like to do one eye off camera just so I can kind of, you know, just get a look that I'm happy with. Doesn't always happen. And then I'll repeat it on the other eye. So back with one eye done. So I started by using the shade Confidence, which is just a really pale sort of orangey brown shade. And I just started by putting that above the crease. And then I use this orangey brown matte shade called Addicted underneath that. But I feel like with this look, I'm really impressed with the foiled shades. I think that they look absolutely beautiful. The mattes are okay. Like the shade I'm using now is like pretty decent, but I just feel like I've had some trouble sort of like getting the blend to be quite seamless. I just don't feel like I've achieved that, and I don't know whether that's the shades themselves or if it's just me applying things badly, but obviously I will be playing around with this palette a lot more, and I will be talking about it again in an updated review, which will probably be up in March. The next shade that I use is this matte light red colour called Overcome. This one here, and again that's just going below what I've done. Then I'm using the dark reddy maroon shade called You Do You, this one here, and that's going in the same sort of area that I put that red. So like, I think these mattes are fine, but I just feel like I've encountered more pigmented ones and more like ones that are blended better. But again, I am only using some of them. There's still more colours to play around with in the palette. Then I'm using the sort of blacky grey shades, just slightly off black, called Dark Side, and I'm just putting a bit of that in the outer third. And I'm getting the Maybelline Super Stay Concealer and just doing a cut crease. Okay, so in the outer third, I'm going to use You Got This, which is the sort of like, is the word duochrome? Is that the right word? I don't know. The one that has sort of lots of different colour reflex in it, sort of silver, it goes silver, it goes red, it does all sorts of things. But I feel like the best way to apply these is kind of a mix of your finger and the brush. That's what I've kind of done when I've applied it. I feel like I needed to kind of just alternate between them both. But I have to say, I am really impressed with these. I think they look absolutely stunning. So that shade's going in the outer third. Then I'm using the shade next to that, which is a sort of bluey silvery colour called Make Magic. And again, using a mix of my finger and the brush. That's just going in the centre part, I guess. Then in the inner third, I'm using Under My Spell, which is more of like an icy sort of blue shade. That's going in the inner part, and this is again beautiful. Honestly, I'm so impressed with these. They're actually beautiful. See, like the mattes haven't really impressed me that much in this palette, but those foiled shades are just amazing. I've never quite seen anything like it. They stay glittery in the pan. I feel like it's not like an overspray or anything, like it's consistent throughout the whole pan by the looks of it, which is great. I was worried that it might be like a sort of overspray thing. Using a bit of the matte black sort of shade called Dark Side. I'm just trying to blend that in the outer third a bit. Using a bit of You Do You again, and I'm trying to blend this for the crease, but again I just feel like I couldn't get these two shades to blend in with each other that well. So there isn't like a white sort of shimmer or a matte or something that I can put under the brow bone, so I just have to grab something from another palette. Just taking this light white shade from this MAC Flamboyant palette just to put under the brow bone. I definitely feel like I got the blend a lot better on this eye than I did on this eye. So I'm definitely like really impressed with the foiled shades from that palette, but I don't know about the mattes. The mattes I just don't feel too impressed with. Like I don't think they're really bad, I don't think they're awful, but I've just encountered a lot better ones in cheap palettes as well as expensive palettes, you know. But the foiled shades I think are amazing, and I can't wait to play around with them some more. I will obviously play around with the whole palette a few more times, as much as I can, get some pictures and talk about it in my updated makeup review for January and February. So for the waterline, I've got the Gosh Velvet Touch eyeliner in 023 black ink. These have been around for ages, but for some reason I just never tried one. I'll find out how good they are today, so I'm just going to pop this in my top and bottom waterline. It's very creamy and then glides on really nicely, really smooth. It's just not the most pigmented, if I'm honest. I was hoping for a little bit more drama and intensity from it. It's sort of like a kind of grey black more than it is just like a sort of dramatic jet black. So, I mean, I'm not super impressed. Formula's fine, I just wish it was more pigmented, but it's not bad. I mean, it's definitely added something to my waterlines, that's for sure. Okay, so I actually lied when I said everything was from Superdrug. I forgot that I did also get two Catrice mascaras, and I brought these off of Amazon. So my next video is a full face testing Catrice Cosmetics. And I brought 3 mascaras from them. So one I've already tried in that video because I have filmed it before this video. But I did also buy 2 more because they had good reviews. So I've got the Catrice Glam & Doll Lash Colorist Semi-Permanent Volume Mascara, which is this one here. The tubes are very similar to the Collection Lash Surge Mascara. It's got a long, thin wand. And then the other one I got is the Catrice Iconista Lash Millionizer Volume Mascara, which looks like this. And this one's got a sort of curved wand, kind of very similar to Maybelline Lash Sensational and the e.l.f. Curl Mascara. So I figured I'd just do one on one eye, one on the other, really test both of these out. So I'm going to start with the Glam & Doll Lash Colorist Mascara. So they have a lot of the Glam Doll mascaras, but just in different sort of, well, with different names. I don't know, they all do different things, I guess. So I'm just going to pop this one on my top lashes on this eye. I think this one is also meant to tint your eyelashes a bit. I feel like that one's lengthened quite well, but I just don't feel like it's got a lot of thickness and a lot of volume. So I'm a little bit underwhelmed with that one, but what do you think? I'm just not loving how my lashes are looking with that. It's not terrible, but right, let's see how the Iconista compares. I'll do this on the other eye. Okay, so this one I definitely think I prefer. I feel like there's a lot more thickness and a lot more volume on side. I think that one's actually quite good. Maybe like a tiny bit clumpy. See if I can fix that. Yeah, the only thing I sort of complain with on this one is that it's maybe a tiny bit clumpy, but overall I'm quite impressed with the Iconista one. I think that's really thickening and dramatic. This one I just think is a little bit lackluster for me. Okay, so we'll move on to base now. I brought one primer, which is the e.l.f. Natural Glow Lotion, Beautifully Bare Natural Glow Lotion with aloe in luminous gold, and I think this is meant for face and body, so you could use it for both. However, Superdrug decided they also wanted to send me some free primers that I didn't ask for, but you know what, these do actually look quite cool. So we've got the Revlon Photo Ready Rose Glow Hydrating and Illuminating Primer in Rose Quartz, which to be fair, I do quite like the look of this. I do like a nice glowy primer. So I think I'm going to include this in a pick from my kit, my January pick from my kit. I also got for free the Gosh Velvet Touch Foundation Primer. And see, they've got one that's exactly the same as this, but it's an apricot, which I was considering buying. But now that I've got this one, I feel like there's no point in me buying the apricot one because I think they're more or less the same sort of thing. So this is more of a sort of matte pore blurring one, I believe. I think I might be able to use both of these on my face. I think I'll put the glow lotion on first, and then I'll put a bit of that Gosh one just in my pore area. It's definitely like a very sort of yellowy, gold toned primer. It doesn't seem like it's overly glittery as well, which I know a lot of people don't like, so there you go. I'm just hoping it gives me a nice bit of like just kind of radiance on my face, which it looks like it's gonna do. Okay, that's really nice. It's quite like subtle, but I kind of prefer that. It's not got like strong bits of glitter in it or anything, but there's definitely like noticeable glow and radiance on the face. It's actually very similar to the Barry Glowmance, which I really like. That is really nice. I really like that. I think if you want something a bit more like sparkly and highlighty though, then this isn't that. It's more of a natural sort of inner glow, but I personally really like that. So now I'm just going to get a little bit of this Gosh primer. It is clear, and I'm just going to concentrate this in the pore area. Oh my god, it feels like velvet. It feels so soft. I generally feel like when it comes to pore blowing primers, I'm never really that impressed with them. I don't feel like I normally notice a lot of difference, but then again, I have got massive pores. Okay, that has the nicest, softest, most velvety texture I've ever felt from a primer. Again, I don't really feel like I've noticed a massive difference with my pores, but I just I don't really buy into the idea that primers are gonna make my pores disappear anyway. I mean, I don't think they claim to make pores disappear, but obviously like minimize them. I feel like maybe, am I crazy actually, or I kind of feel like maybe it has minimized my pores a bit, you know? Maybe my eyes are deceiving me. Okay, so the foundation that I brought is the Revlon Photo Ready Candid foundation. I got the shade 1110 Porcelain, which I'm pretty sure is the lightest shade. So I mainly want to get this because I feel like I've heard people compare it to the L'Oreal Infallible, and that's my favourite drugstore foundation at the moment. It's my favourite full stop foundation at the moment, actually. That's what the shade looks like. It's not spot on, really. It's a little bit orangey again. So I don't know whether to mix it or not. So I won't bother mixing it for this video, but in the future I probably would. But we'll see what it's like, the colour on its own. So I'm just going to pop this on around. Okay, so this is definitely a very sort of lightweight foundation, and it's not like particularly great coverage. I would say it's like a high light coverage, low medium coverage. I mean, I might try and just build it up a little bit. Definitely a very lightweight feeling foundation. I would say it's sort of like semi-matte. There's definitely radiance in it. I wouldn't say it's like overly dewy, overly oily. But it's definitely not matte. It's not matte at all. I don't really feel like it's striking me as that similar to the L'Oreal Infallible, to be honest. I definitely feel like this is a very sort of like summery foundation because it's like quite lightweight and it has got like dewiness and radiance in it. Which, I mean, I'm not massively into dewy radiant foundations, to be honest, because I just feel like they draw a little bit too much attention to my pores. I do prefer either matte or semi-matte finish. But I don't feel like it's overkill with the dew, so I've got mixed thoughts on it. I do like how lightweight it is, and it certainly doesn't look heavy or cakey on the skin, which is really nice. So I think if you're the type of person that likes a light coverage sort of foundation that's more like kind of radiant, then I think you'd really like this. Like, I wouldn't mind it being like light coverage and stuff. I just prefer it to maybe be just a little bit more matte or semi-matte. I know most people do like dewy, so get some coverage back. We'll go in with the Maybelline Superstay Concealer, which again is a little bit off in colour, so that's alright. We'll just be a little bit orangey today. I can live with that. It tends to happen in first impressions. So that Maybelline Concealer has definitely bumped up the coverage a lot, and it's sitting fine over the top of the foundation. I feel like it has more of a matte finish, the concealer, but at the same time it's not dry. Like, it's still reasonably hydrating, but it doesn't look oily on the skin, which I like. So I've actually got two setting powders, so they're both from Gosh. I've got the Prime and Set Mattifying Setting Powder, which is the hydration one, with the blue writing on it, and then I've also got the waterproof setting powder, which also has blue writing on it. These both have got really good reviews on Superdrug, so I wanted to check them out because I used to not really be very into loose powders. I used to find them way too messy, but now I basically mostly use loose powders, so I wanted to try a lot of products that I've sort of ignored in the past. Because I've got two powders, I think I will just set half of my face with one, half with the other, so we can test them both out. To set my face, I like to use sponges, so I like to use this little one under my eyes and then this flat bit on here to do the outer parts of my face. So I'm going to start with the waterproof setting powder, I think. This one does have a little bit of a colour tint to it. It does look a tiny bit pink, which worries me slightly. But it's got a thing where you can kind of seal off the powder, and then a lid that you can tap it into, so that's great. A lot of pressed powders will not come with a detachable lid, and it's just like, where am I supposed to tap the powder? I'm hoping this doesn't give my face a pink tint, because that wouldn't be ideal, because I've got more olivey undertones, although my base makeup right now is off in colour anyway. I'm just going to tap out my creases and set this half of my face with the waterproof powder. That has proper oxidized my foundation. Oh my god. I am disappointed. Okay, it's really oxidized my makeup, and my makeup was already too dark, and it's just giving my faces orange patches. I don't know if you can see it on the camera. And I feel like it just looks a bit patchy as well. Oh, I'm not loving what this has done. Oh, I really hope the other one doesn't do this. I just don't know. I feel like it's also just taken away some of the coverage as well. Obviously, I'll try it with different base products on. It might respond better to a different base. So I'm going to switch to the hydration powder. This one is literally just straight up white. However, I have had white powders that have still oxidized my makeup in the past as well. So packaging is a little bit messy with this one. There is kind of just powder everywhere as soon as you open the lid. Okay, here's hoping that this other side goes better. So again, I'll tap out these creases and set it down. Okay, so this side is definitely better. It's definitely not oxidized my makeup anywhere near as badly as it has on the other side. I still don't feel like it looks super smooth. Just don't feel like it's really done any favours on my skin. It looks a little bit patchy again as well. And again, I feel like it has taken away some of the coverage that I've had on. So I'm not really mad about that one either, but it's definitely better. Oh, I'm a little bit disappointed because I was expecting good things from these because they had good reviews in Superdrug. I'll definitely keep trying them and try and find ways to get them to work better, but the first impressions, I'm not really impressed with either of those powders that much, to be honest. And half of my face is orange, which is great. I'm going to move on now to cheeks. So for bronzer, I got Revlon Bronze Beauty Matte Powder in 024. I'm pretty sure there's only one shade of this anyway. Obviously, I can't really say how suitable this is for my regular skin tone because my face is very orange right now, so I will have to try this out again when I have a matching base makeup. So it looks like this, so I kind of wish it just took up the whole pan because it'd be easier to get your brush into. Nonetheless, I'm going to try and get my bronzer brush into it and let's warm up the face. Again, I do find that some of these loose powders do affect how well my cheek products show up as well, so they might do that too. Also, I feel like I can't even really say anything about this bronzer because of how bad my actual complexion is right now. It seems to have worked fine though. I mean, if I focus more on this side, because this side is definitely closer to my skin tone, it seems fine really. Don't feel like it looks too orange. I'll have to try that again. So we'll move on to highlighter now. So I have the Nip and Fab Better Work highlighter palette, which comes in a few different shades. It's definitely quite expensive for a drugstore palette, so I'm hoping that this is good quality because I think I got it for £17, which is a lot of money to pay for a drugstore highlighter palette, but I do think it can go up to £20. What shade should I use? I think I'm going to start with the more sort of peachy one here. And we'll just pop that on this cheekbone to start with. It's pretty nice. I'm going to use this one at the other end, which is a bit more silvery in tone. And I'm going to pop that on the other cheekbone. This one's definitely a bit more glittery. And this one isn't as pigmented. It's sort of just like a glitter sheen sort of coming out. Again, as I said, sometimes the powders can affect how highlighters perform, so I will have to try it again. This video is kind of going disastrously wrong. It's showing up a bit though. I mean, it does look quite nice. We're going with the sort of goldy one in the middle now, and I'm going to pop that on my nose, cupid's bow and chin. For some reason my neighbours are having a party on a Thursday evening, so if you can hear any music, that's what that is. I think these highlighters are alright. I wouldn't say I'm particularly blown away by them, but I think these two shades at the end here are better than this one. This one's just not as pigmented. I just feel like even when you swatch it, it's just, and not a lot comes out. It's just a bit sheer looking. The other two are quite nice though. Okay, so we're going to move on to brows now. I've got two products. I've got the Max Factor Brow Revival Densifying Brow Mascara. This is in soft brown. And then I've also got the MUA Brow Define Micro Precision Eyebrow Pencil. This is in dark brown. My usual brow routine is to use a gel and then a micro brow pencil to define it a little bit more. So it has got quite a small wand. There does seem to be quite a bit of excess on it though, so I'm going to have to tap that off. Hoping I find some more good like drugstore eyebrow gels this year, because the only one I really found last year I really liked was the e.l.f. one. So I'm just going to run that through my brows. There is quite a bit of excess, but that's definitely far from the worst I've seen. I'm not actually that mad at that. As you can see, it really like proper feathers your brows out. It's really sort of natural looking. I'm actually like kind of liking that. It's not a normal sort of brow look I go for, because it's very like kind of feathered out, but like you can see all the brow hairs, which is really nice. Could be onto something there. So to kind of define it a little bit more, I'm going to use the MUA micro brow pencil. This is like super cheap. I think it's like about £2.50. So if this is good, then that's great. When it comes to micro brow pencils, I like them to be quite soft and like not too harshly pigmented. So we'll see what this one does. I'm a little bit concerned about the fact that that brow gel is kind of drying and it feels like really sticky and like weird and like it's gluing to my brows. It feels so weird, like it's like you put like eyelash glue through them or something. The micro brow pencil, I feel like it is maybe a little bit stiffer, but sometimes I feel like they need to warm up a little bit. But I think it seems to be working fine. Not sure how to feel about that. I think they look fine, but it just feels really weird. Like it just feels weird, like I've got Botox in my brows or something. You see all the brow hairs, which I like. I like it when your brows, like your hair's defined as opposed to it just looking like a drawn on brow. Okay, so let's finish off the eyes now. I'm gonna use this shade in the Nip and Fab highlighter palette in my inner corner. It's not really done much in my inner corner, has it? Let's use a yellowy shade. The inner corner really is not as popping as I like it to be. I feel like I'm just generally being quite disappointed by a lot of products today, which I do not like. Okay, so on the lower lash line, I'm going to go in with Addicted, the matte brown shade, and just shove a load of that on underneath my lash line. I'm going to use You Do You again, the maroony colour. Put that a bit closer to the lash line. For mascara, I think I'm going to layer up the Iconista one on the other eye just because I like the effect of this way more, and then I'm going to put it on my bottom lashes for both eyes. I did actually get a setting spray, so this is the NYX Dewy Finish setting spray. Looks like this. I'm not spending anything to save this base makeup, but might as well give it a spray over the old face. There's a few little dots. I'm hoping I should just be able to tap that in there. That has actually made my skin look a bit dewy. There was a couple of little dots though that I'm noticing, but not a lot. Yeah, I think I quite like that. So the last thing I've got to try out is 2 lipsticks from L'Oreal. I'm just going to put a tiny bit of balm on first because my lips are dried out a little bit. So I got 2 of the L'Oreal Colour Reach Ultra Matte lipsticks. So I got one nude and then I got one really vampy colour. So the nude is called No Shame and this looks absolutely up my street. It looks beautiful nude colour. Then the other one is a proper vampy colour. This is No Prejudice and this is like a proper like dark browny red shade. It looks stunning. When it comes to lips, I either want nude, I mean most of the time I want nude, but the other type of lip colour I like is super vampy shades. So I think I'm going to use the nude first just because they're easier to kind of wipe off. Yeah, I love that colour. It does look a bit glossy, but that's only because I had a lip balm under it. I imagine it would normally be matte. I think we'll find out more with the other one because I'm going to wipe that off, so the balm will probably come off with it. So we'll see for sure if the other one is matte. And it feels really nice, nice texture, glided on really easily. I'm going to take it off though and try the more vampy shade. Okay, so my lips are kind of more dry now, so we'll see for sure how matte they are. So I'm going to use No Prejudice, and this is going to be dramatic. Definitely need to kind of apply that one a bit more carefully, but I think I stayed within the lip lines, did I? Who knows? I think with like a nicer base and a more neutral eye look, that would look absolutely stunning. It is definitely more matte, but it's not like completely like dry or anything, so it does sort of move around a little bit. It is for the most part a matte formula. So it's super pigmented. The shade is absolutely beautiful. Maybe it looks a bit weird with everything else going on my face, but I like it. I do like it. That's everything tried. I feel like this makeup looks atrocious, but you know, I feel like this probably hasn't been my favourite first impressions. I am a bit disappointed with quite a few of the products, which is sad because I spent my money on these things. I'm just gonna fix my hair and clean up any mascara mess and I'll be back. Okay, so I think my favourite products would be definitely the foiled shades and the Carby palette. I think that they are absolutely stunning. The Iconista mascara from Catrice I think is actually really good. Really thick, really voluminous. The other Catrice one was a bit disappointing, but I do quite like this Iconista one. I think that's pretty good. I like the lipsticks. I liked both of the primers, the Gosh one, the e.l.f. Glow Lotion. I think I like the eyebrow gel. I don't like how it feels because it sort of feels like hairspray, but on my eyebrows it's very stiff. But I do like this sort of feathered out appearance it gives. I do think it actually probably looked better before I put the micro brow pencil on with it. I think it kind of looks better the more sort of like natural and feathery it looks. Quite like this, but it's just the feeling I'm not the biggest fan of, but the appearance I really like. The concealer was also quite nice. I did quite like the concealer. Foundation, I'm not so sure about. Maybe a bit lighter coverage than what I normally like, and it's a little bit too dewy for me. I prefer a more matte or semi-matte finish. I will keep trying it out, and I will need to mix it with things because the colour's a bit off. Both of the powders I'm just a bit disappointed with, really. I just don't. First of all, the waterproof one has just literally turned half of my face orange, and I just don't feel like either of them had the nicest, smoothest finish. A bit patchy looking, it took away a bit of coverage that I had. I'm just not sure about the powders, but I'll keep trying them. Highlighter I thought was a little bit lackluster. I just didn't really do much in my inner corner when I used it, and I feel like that's the kind of telltale sign if a highlight is good, what it does to your inner corner, and it just didn't really do much at all. And that's very disappointing because of how expensive that was. But again, I'll keep trying it on different bases, but a bit disappointed in the highlighter. Can't really say much about the bronzer, to be honest, because I need my normal skin tone. All of these products I will go into more detail about. I'm going to keep using them over the rest of January, February, and then the majority of March, because I will probably try and get my January-February recap up right at the end of March is probably when it will go up. This has been a bit of a mixed bag, really, a bit of some disappointments today, not gonna lie, but I have found some decent products, definitely. Keep watching this video, and I will see you in my next one. Goodbye.